When I talk about doing the work, when I say to the listener, welcome to the work, I'm saying welcome to the work of coming to know ourselves. You know, if you look back at the Middle Ages, one of the things people have heard a lot about is alchemy. And what a lot of people have assumed was it was literally about taking lead and turning it into gold. That may or may not be true, but there's a very deeply symbolic interpretation of that, which was the taking of our own inner lead and turning it into inner gold.
I'm willing to go in. I'm willing to go in.
So the idea is that by becoming aware of our darkness, by becoming aware of our flaws, by becoming aware of our hypocrisies, and by simply admitting them to ourselves, we allow them to be transformed into powerful and dynamic and light parts of ourselves. So the inner work is alchemy. It's the work of transformation. For me, it was always an instinctive choice to kind of come out of the closet and put the word ayahuasca in the album title. Ayahuasca is a plant medicine from South America, from the Amazon and the surrounding regions, and it's been used historically as a healing medicine by shamans within a ceremonial context.
If I open my heart wider than the ocean, will I be part, could I be part of mystery and motion? Like all of the stars, they shine with such devotion. If I could let this go, I wanna let this go.
I, like a lot of people, struggled with the idea that this was a medicine at all, because I have a lot of my own prejudices about spirituality and drug use. I think I brought a lot of questions about, is it possible that this thing could be good for me? But in my experience, the ingesting of this plant brought a great healing into my heart and into my mind. It allowed me to experience a form of compassion and tenderness with myself that I don't think I'd ever had before, which is really the first step towards improving ourselves.
Show me your heart.
It's the moment to begin.
Show me your heart. Show me your heart.
Let's let each other in.
It's something I've been exploring over the last few years and really wanted to make an album that attempted to capture just a tiny part of sort of the magnitude of the ayahuasca experience.
But I don't wanna die, never having lived a life inside to take.
This isn't really about ayahuasca. Ayahuasca is the mode and it's the symbol with which we're having a larger conversation. And that question is, what role do non-ordinary states of consciousness play in the health of the individual and the health of our society?
Inside to wake me up.
The fact is, we don't live in a world that supports inner inquiry. We live in a world that supports outward grabbing.
Wake me up.
So inner work in any spiritual path, whether it's ayahuasca or meditation or yoga or chanting, it really does go against the grain of the world that we're currently living in. But for that reason, it's all the more needed and all the more powerful. The genesis of this album was a discussion between me and my good friend Jessica Chapnik Khan. She performs under the name Apollonia.
working with Ben. He's very punk, and I like that. There's no preconceived sort of ideas about how things should be done. It's all very do-it-yourself and free. It very much resonates with me, that kind of playful punk way that he has. That's been something that's captivated people, is that he's quite personal and intimate in a public way, and sometimes it's uncomfortable, but I think what you see is what you get.
To anyone that's followed my career, they know that if nothing else, I've just been like very honest about what I'm enthused about at various points of my life, and that all my albums essentially are love songs and reflect kind of the joy of discovery. A lot of what I wanted to do with this record was make a record that was sort of demanding, that took the listener on a journey, kind of against the listener's will in a way.
Find the will to grow, build the strength to breathe. All you need to know comes out of little seeds, pushing through the dirt and wrap around the trees, feeding on the light that you were born to see.
As ayahuasca is becoming more widely known and publicized, I think there is a danger of people ordering it off the internet or wanting to take it themselves. The plant medicine is incredibly powerful in its own right as a chemical compound, as an organic substance, but equally so, the expertise of those that have been trained and it's come through their lineage and have worked out how to map the experience and how to support explorers of the psyche is a vital part of the experience. Just as if you were looking for a therapist, you would not take the decision lightly. You want to find something, a system that you resonate with a lot of integrity and a lot of expertise. I'd say the same of an ayahuasca experience. Making this record has been sort of a purifying process where I've been on my own journey, where I've had to let go of a lot of my own assumptions of what makes a Ben Lee record and what am I allowed to do and not allowed to do. I've always been a big believer that each album I put out is almost like a magnet. I make an album with an intention to it and an energy and an imagination to it. And then it draws to it a whole set of experiences and people that form the next chapter of my life.
Oh, thank you for remembering.
So I'm really interested to see where this record takes me. Again, the lessons of the medicine continue with the album, which is, it's okay not to know.
Oh, thank you for remembering. Oh, thank you for remembering. The sound and the source and the wave and the storm, the machine and the dream and the formless and the form. The question in the dark and the shadow that we hide, the diamonds and the demons and the trouble and desire, the spark and the space between us, the touch of a lover.